Hey there, what's up? I had a really interesting encounter the other day at a Coach the Coach event. So basically, coaches sitting together and trying to learn something. And the host of the event asked me to actually chip in a little bit and help out. So while doing one of the exercises, that was basically one coach was presenting an issue or a problem they have, and the other coach tried to coach them using a very specific method. I was wandering around the room and trying to help and observe people, trying to give some tips what they can do better, basically. And I encountered something that was really interesting. So just to explain the situation a little bit, there was one person who has a partner, and they both live in two different cities. So in order to make it easier for both of them, they kind of decided to move to a city that is in between both, so that they have kind of similar travel time to work. And he basically presented the problem that he would like to be better socially integrated in that new city. Both of them are not from there, they don't have any ties to the city, so this was kind of the goal he has. And then the other coach tried to help him to basically identify what exactly he could do to better socially integrate himself or him and his partner into this new city. Yeah, but I was listening there for a bit, and then I identified something I kind of needed to intervene. And I asked them why exactly he needs to be better socially integrated. Because being better socially integrated is not a problem, right? It tries to cover up a problem, but they never really talked about what exactly the problem or the issue is. And that's what today's video is about. I would like to emphasize a little bit more, please try to really identify what exactly the issue is you try to solve. Otherwise, you will never find the best solution for it. And today I want to talk about why exactly this happens. Why do we jump to conclusions rather than really identifying what exactly the impediment is we try to resolve? And at the end, I want to give you a tip on how exactly you can resolve that. It is quite childish, I might say. Why are we so often jumping to conclusions? Well, there are kind of two reasons for that I think are most predominant when it comes to this fact. One of them is our management style. More specifically, the management style in the waterfall world. Like what happened throughout the last 60 years, maybe excluding the last 20 a little bit, but it's kind of still very predominant in our world. And that is that managers are only good if they can come up with solutions. Have you ever heard, "Hell, I don't want to know the problem, just give me the solution"? I strongly assume you have heard this once or twice in your past. So, this is one of the reasons why we like to jump to conclusions, because it makes us better managers. Or does it? Secondly, think about our school system. We were raised in a system where there was only the one right answer. And we only got good grades if we got this one right answer. So, basically, we were incentivized to limit ourselves to just this one option. And the quicker you are in getting there, the better you are too, right? If you're not quick enough, you will not get through the entire exam, so you need to kind of speed up and not really think about the solutions all too much. And both of those reasons are kind of really influencing us and influencing our management style as well. But those are just the external influences. There are some internal influences too. I'm specifically talking about emotions and our unconscious. They do influence us. And they basically taint our solution too. If you think about a problem or an impediment and some idea of a solution comes to mind and you feel really good about it, your emotions are positive when it comes to that, then you are more likely to pursue this. But it's just a feeling, right? And feelings are basically they are very similar to memories. So if you had similar decisions in the past and they always led to positive outcome, let's say you have been working in a waterfall world and your decisions led to promotions. That's something positive. You feel good about that. And that's why you tend to repeat those. But it does not mean that those decisions were actually really good, does it? Secondly, our unconscious. We have these two sides of our mindset, right? The conscious mind and the unconscious mind. And by the way, there is a really awesome book called Before I Know It, Before You Know It, Before We Know It. Let me check it out. Before You Know It. And I can highly recommend that. There will be a link in the description if you want to check it out. It explains really well how your unconscious influences you and how your conscious influences you, and how the both are really working together, and how you can actually make the best out of it. So it's really interesting read, check it out. But what actually happens with our unconscious when we kind of face an impediment that we would like to solve is it kind of taints our solution, or our thinking, or the solution that we come up with, our rationale, by our goals that we have, our intrinsic goals. And if our goals or one of our goals is, for example, getting a promotion, then most of our decisions will be influenced by that unconscious goal. It might actually be a conscious goal too, but our unconscious influences our thinking in a way that it kind of, suits this goal. But this means that, it might not be the best solution at hand for the situation. It just really is the best solution for our goal. So you should be really, really aware of that. At least I think every leader should be very aware of that, so that better solutions will prevail rather than the solutions that we personally, individually prefer. Specifically if you're working in an agile environment. Another aspect comes from neuroscience. And that's kind of the kicker in all that. Our brains are designed in a very specific way. They are absolutely awesome, but one part of what makes them awesome is it is designed in a way to save as much energy as possible. So the first answer that is feasible is usually the answer we want to go for, because that saves us all the other energy to furthermore think about the issue, or the impediment that we have. So it really limits our outcome, or the outcomes that we come up with, because our brain thinks, hey, we are done, cool, now I can basically rest again. But that's not really what you want to do if you compete in a highly competitive global market, right? You really want to come up with the best answers, not with the quickest answer. Because the quickest answer, assumingly, is something that everyone can come up with. So it doesn't give you any competitive edge in that regard. What happens quite often as well is we don't come up, or leaders don't come up with the entire answer or solution to something, but they already come up with a specific area of an answer, like, try to do it in this fashion or whatever. And that puts on blinders on all the people, like ourselves and all the people around us. So we can't really openly think about any other possible solutions anymore. We limit ourselves so much in that regard. Something that is actually quite often happening is that we try to come up with several solutions. And then we weigh those solutions against each other to come up with the best ones. And that's not bad, that's actually quite good. I like that approach. But we still kind of tend to skip the previous part. Let's challenge the impediment. Let's challenge what exactly it is we would like to solve. Like, we are not socially integrated. That's why we want to be more socially integrated. Yeah, but why do you want to be socially integrated? What is the purpose behind that? Do you need someone to sit your cats, or do you need someone to hang out with in the evening? Or do you just, want to be political in that regard, and you need kind of social ties in that environment in order to become political in a couple of years? These are all different reasons, and you might actually tackle them in a different way. So just accepting we want to be socially integrated is definitely not enough. What is the solution to all that? I want to give you 3 today that maybe you can take into this week already and try to apply right now, so that you can come up with better answers. And if you did, please let me know in the comments. I'm really curious to hear that, of course. If you think there's a total fail, please let me know in the comments too. I'm really eager to improve myself too. And everything I say can be wrong. And first of all, acknowledge your priming. Acknowledge how you have been raised, acknowledge your environment that you have been trained in, that you lived in. How does this influence you in your current situation? Second one, acknowledge your emotions. They do influence you, and maybe even stronger than you think. Maybe you are actually really driven by your emotions rather than your rationale, or emotions and unconscious, like the priming and the emotions. Be really careful about them, or not careful, but acknowledge them. Just be aware of them. When you have a solution in mind, or when you think you have a solution in mind, think about, is this influenced by my emotions? Is this influenced by my priming? Or am I actually openly thinking about the impediment? And do I even understand the impediment? Which is the third one, ask why. And ask it often. That means, if you hear, I want to be socially integrated. Why? Because it's boring in the evening. Why? Because my partner and I are fighting all the time, and that leaves me alone in a room, and I'm just bored all the time. Why? Because she wants kids and I don't. Why? I think you see where this is going. And this kind of leads me to one of the really important examples that I want to do, because this, what I'm proposing here, is not unnatural. You might have figured it out already throughout the last minute that asking why is the most asked questions by kids. When they raise up, when they experience the world, when they start to really learn their environment, they ask why all the time. And this is awesome. I mean, you know, there is this fact where kids really sense that you're annoyed by that, and they just ask the question to annoy you furthermore. I mean, kids are evil at times, so I'm not talking about this, but most kids are really curious. And if you think about the most successful leaders of our time, whether it's Elon Musk or Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos, they are all really, really curious people. They've read a lot because they wanted to gain knowledge, so they were asking why a lot. But what do we do with this tension with kids? I mean, usually we figuratively beat them up about it. Stop asking why all the time. I'm annoyed by that. And kind of why do we do that? As parents, I mean, there are kind of those two reasons. First of all, we might not have the answer to it. And that's not comfortable, right? We are the heroes, and the heroes should always have the answer. No, why? I mean, seriously, why? Just be honest and open about it, and rather say, hey, instead of giving you the answer, I will show you how you can get to the answer yourself. Wouldn't that be a nice lesson to learn? And secondly, you know, when you give the reason for a decision, when you answer the why, they might actually challenge your decision. And that's not comfortable either, right? We are the strong, we are the dictators in this environment, and we don't like to be challenged. But I can only highly encourage you to encourage your kids to keep asking why. Be curious about it, because this will lead you to the best possible solution that you can get up or come up with. And I want to encourage you yourself as well. Ask why. Ask why 5 times. I don't know why or who came up with this 5 times asking why, but it kind of leads you to the root cause of something, or it gets closer to it, and that is really beneficial when you need a decision to make. Don't overdo it though. Don't become this petty person who always asks why, because you know, that's not a good thing either. And with that, I want to leave you. If you have a comment, please comment down below. If you like this video, please hit the like button, it's really appreciated. And if you want to see more of those videos, please subscribe and crush the bell so that you will be informed about all new videos coming up. And with that, have an awesome week. First, think about your priming. Think about how you have...
She does. Well, isn't that nice? Well, we'd like to go sometime too, wouldn't we?